So Battlegrounds Season 9 is here, and the current meta for it is buff toggle unstoppable, right? So what this does is, every 9 seconds, the defender gets an unstoppable buff for like 3 seconds. So it can be annoying at times for sure, but there's ways to work around it. And that's what this video is for, right? To help you learn the tactics to just make this node not too bad, right? So yeah, let's just see what they are. I think this is the best way to counter the node, and it is slow. Slow just prevents the unstoppable buff from happening, and additionally, it's not a nullify, right? So they won't trigger return policy, because that's also pretty important for this like meta, because it can like really mess up some nullify champions, right? However, nullify is still good, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, like right here, this is just an example fight for like slow characters. This is Quicksilver, and Quicksilver will be probably one of the best slow champions to like use in your deck, because he counters a lot of mystics, and mystics are just super annoying, right? So yeah, Quicksilver, I feel like he'll be an MVP for sure, but I feel like there are some like better slow champions, like, you know, Shang-Chi would be really dang good as well. And I feel like, who else is a slow champion? Actually, okay, I can only think of those two right now. There probably is more, but like I feel like those two will probably be like the resident go-to slow characters. But there's definitely more to like, you know, use. There are a lot of options for slow at this time of the game. So yeah, like slow will be the best option for this by far. So here I dropped the SP2, and yeah, look at that, just gets deleted. And yeah, slow champions, really powerful here. Another slow champion that I want to mention is Dani Moonstar. So she is very, very new, so like, you know, take this with like a grain of salt, right? But other slow champions like Spider-Gwen, She-Hulk, they'll be like good substitutes for sure, but I feel like the fastest will probably be Shang-Chi. I feel like he'll be the fastest option, and just overall the best slow champion to use, right? But yeah, like right here, Dani Moonstar, she has slow on the SP1 and is just really, really good. Hers is passive as well, so like bypasses, you know, Purify champions, which is pretty cool. And you know, Purify champions, they might be very strong for this meta, because you know, you want to like nullify, right, but then return policy, and then if you want to slow them, it's usually a debuff, right? So that'll be like countered by like their Purify mechanic. So keep that in mind. Purify characters might be really annoying to deal with here, but Dani Moonstar, she has the passive slow to help make that not too bad. But yeah, here I dropped the SP2, and it is just showtime, man. Watch this damage output. It's pretty dang sweet. Like, no crits, but it's still pretty dang good. And yeah, like, slow characters like this will just help trivialize this node for sure. And yeah, there are my slow options for this meta. Now, the runner-up for like the best option is probably Neutralize. Neutralize is so good here because it's not a nullify, so they won't gain any power from like being prevented. They're unstoppable. So right here we have a rank 5 Cersei with Rintra, and I am not a Rintra player, I would just like to say, so this might be really, really bad to y'all. I'm sorry, I just don't really play the guy as much, but yeah, he's still really good. He's probably the best attacker for this besides Tigra. Tigra, you know, just way too powerful, right? So yeah, like Rintra, Tigra, Wiccan, the very like strong neutralized characters. I feel like they're the only ones. I think there is Purgatory too, but I feel like she won't be as good as them. I don't want to upset any Purgatory fans, but I just feel like that is the case, right? But yeah, Rintra will be a very good attacker here, and he's also really annoying in defense as well. So just a very solid dual threat. And look at this. I also learned today that if you get hit, he still neutralizes. That's pretty cool, but don't do that in like a Battlegrounds match. That's not smart to do. So yeah, just try to avoid that. And there is like a good neutralize option. And like I said, Tiger as well, Wiccan, the usuals. So Nullify is still an option despite return policy, but just keep in mind that if they're at like 2.5 bars of power and you nullify them, they'll be pushed to the SP3, and it will not be fun for you whatsoever, right? But champions like Dr. Doom that have power control can do this just fine. And yeah, that's why he's probably one of the best stagger champions for this, and the best nullify champion for it as well. But there's also other options, like you'll see here, Titania, a very strong stagger champion that will be pretty useful for this meta, I feel like. But yeah, like any nullify character like Juggernaut, I can't stand Juggernaut, but he's going to be really good for this probably. And champions like the Hood as well will be really good for this because he has like on-demand stagger pretty much. So yeah, like champions like that, just really potent staggers, really easy to access staggers will be really good for this meta for sure. Just keep in mind that they will have a bit of a disadvantage if they can't power control too well. But like Titania here, she has the Haymaker that like lets her go indestructible, so she can just deal with it pretty dang easily, right? But yeah, here, the fight is just really smooth. She's just a really good absorb man counter. counter. She's a really good just mystic counter in general. I feel like she's just really strong, man. She's so good, and like as a 7-star, she'll probably be like the best attacker for you overall, like for a stagger champion. So yeah, like here I dropped the SP3 and it is just game over pretty much. And yeah, Titania probably gonna be my go-to stagger counter. I feel like she is the best in that regard for me. Let me know who you think is gonna be better overall. I think probably Hood will be better overall, but Titania still an absolute monster, man. So good on attack. And yeah, that's it for the stagger champs. Some champions counter Unstoppable in a really unique way, right? Like, Valkyrie, just 10 hits, and then she counters it, like, completely. Absorbing Man, reduces the duration of it by, like, 90%. So, yeah, champs like that will all have, like, a unique way to counter it. And Lady Deathstrike will be good for any mutant character because she counters unstoppable abilities of mutant champions, and that includes nodes as well. So yeah, pretty good there. And Adam Warlock right here, he counters it in a really weird way. So basically, if you time the SP1 with the unstoppable, he will just ignore it completely pretty much, because watch this. We drop the SP1, he's unblockable, it stuns them as well. So yeah, he just counters it completely pretty much. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to work around it for unique champion abilities. And yeah. The final tactic here, just burst them down. There's you can just play around the unstoppable, time your specials accordingly and just work around the 3-second window where you can't really hit them, right? Champs like America Chavez, who are just very strong burst champions, and champs like Hulk, Archangel, Hulkling, characters like that will just be fine here. Don't mind me getting parried there, that's okay. But actually no, watch this. This is pretty dang cool. So here I dropped the SP2, it life steals a ton, and we are back into just having a lot of health, right? But yeah, champions like that, just very strong burst characters, will be really good for this meta, because you can just wait out the unstoppable and then go back in, and then yeah, you're just chilling, man. So watch this, SP1, and he was down in 39 seconds, no big deal with the unstoppable, right? And now we also have right here, this Human Torch fight. Human Torch, a really strong burst champion, he's just gonna work around the node again. And yeah, like I said, burst champions are still fine for this meta, because the unstoppable is pretty dang annoying, but not too bad to work around, right? Additionally, if the opponent has really long special attacks, you can time it to where they throw it while unstoppable, and it just kind of trivializes it, right? It makes it pretty dang useless. So yeah, just there's a lot of ways to work around it for sure, but then again, if you don't want to, it's fine. Burst champions will still do their thing, and they will still be really good for this node. So yeah, right here we have Human Torch, like I said, just doing his thing, usual stuff, just being really crazy for these energy fights. And yeah, even with the unstoppable, he still doesn't get countered that well. So it is what it is, man. Usual burst champions just doing usual things. It's fine. It's expected, right? But yeah, he counters that fight pretty well. Nothing's changed. He's still super fast. And now we have right here Hulk, who is my favorite burst character, and he just does not change whatsoever, right? He just becomes still super fast, and there is almost no inconvenience with him with the unstoppable, right? So yeah, burst champions still really good here, but there's ways to work around it with the nullify, the slow, and things like that. But I just want to mention here that yeah, just burst characters, they are still just running around rampant here, and they are not being stopped whatsoever, which does kind of suck, to be fair. But it is what it is too. I wish there was more strategy towards this, but there is the slow champions, right? But then again, there's also just the burst characters right here. Watch this, he just gets melted, man, and he just did not stand a chance right there. So yeah, burst characters still really strong. Now, a quick recap of my best attackers. I think Valkyrie will be probably one of the best ones out there, because she's insanely fast and she counters unstoppable just completely. Absorbing Man and his unstoppable duration reduction, really strong there. Also has really good damage at base. Lady Deathstrike counters mutant unstoppable effects, so she'll be the resident mutant counter for sure. She's also super fast too. So yeah, those three probably going to be MVPs for sure. Then we have Rintra and Neutralize champions like Tigra and Wiccan, very strong. Then we have Shang-Chi and slow champions Quicksilver, Danny Moonstar, Hawkeye, a lot of different slow champions, but I feel Shang-Chi and Quicksilver will be the best ones for sure. And then we also have Titania and Stagger champions, there's the Hood, there's Doctor Doom, champions like that. But I feel Titania will be probably the strongest one out there, if not her, then the Hood also. But then there's just the resident fast champions, right? Hulk, Mole Man, Hulkling, Archangel, Juggernaut, who like also nullifies, to be fair. Same thing with Tigra and her Neutralize. Just a lot of different fast characters that'll be really good for this meta still, because they don't really get stopped, right? Like, Human Torch, Nimrod, champions like that will still be really powerful for this, right? So yeah, like overall, an interesting meta for sure, but I feel like burst characters will still just be like the best option here. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this video. Let me know your thoughts on like new meta, like how it's been going for you. And yeah, that's about it for me.